And he's back. Okay. So, we left off at the Scorpion King. So, I had gotten this intimation to look up this Scorpion King guy. And he was the guy that basically like unified Egypt or something through conquest. He was apparently the one that combined the crowns and blah blah blah. Blah. You can look it up. Go look at the movie on YouTube. It's really really interesting. Um, so the the thing about baseball is that they used to use this club when the Scorpion King was when he had defeated all his enemies. He got the skulls of his enemies, and they would take this club, and the club looks like a baseball. It's like the size of a baseball. That's how they describe it, right? So he would take this baseball-sized club, and he would crack the skulls of his enemies. It was like this ritual they did. Um, so I have this other stuff written down, right? Um, now I'm just telling you usually what I write down and what I tend to gather through other things. So this has something to do with KFC and the Colonel. Okay, um, I wrote down geomancy, something to do with writing, religion, ritual warfare, monumental building. I think these are all the things he brought to the culture, right? That's what they say. The King's List, kind of like the presidential, that little section they have at the White House with the with all the presidents, right? And we know, if you're watching this, you probably know all about the Freemasons and their ties to the creation of this country and all that stuff. New Egypt, New Atlantis, or whatever the fuck they want to call it, right? Um, they brought the calendar. The King's List was like the first calendar, and you look up anything about the system. A lot of it has to do with time and measurements of time. And Seven Bomar talks a lot about that in his past videos. Um, Love as a shield. I kind of forget what I meant by that. I write these things down, and sometimes I sit on them, and when I get the feeling to release it, I release it. So, um, Christians burn history. Napoleon found the Rosetta Stone. Um, these are the things that are all tied in. A lot of Freemason rituals, from my understanding, like especially like, what was it, Notre Dame got burnt. And so remember that last thing? They build something, or someone else builds it. I think they build it though. They build it, and then this idea about the first creation. It's like some alchemical working or something. You build something, it's imperfect, right? And then you burn it, and something rises from the ashes like a phoenix. And they're all about this phoenix stuff, rising from the ashes, becoming a new creation, this perpetual cycle or whatever. So they build things with the intention, I believe. I've heard this from other places, I'm pretty sure, in the past, that they build something with the intention to destroy it and then rebuild it, right? And some places were like, I remember reading about this church that was like burnt down like 2 or 3 times. And then they just kept rebuilding it. So there's something about that affects reality, especially people's minds, right? Because, well, the mind is very powerful. What is this? King Menes, the first pharaoh. Narmar is king of upper and lower. Something about the king bringing water for wealth. At one of the sites in Egypt, I remember they had they take these pots or something and they piled them up in a heap. I forgot for what reason, but I'm just shooting things out here for you guys to pick up on, and maybe it'll invigorate your mind or something. I don't know. Another thing that he brought about was something about the bull's tail. So he would wear this bull's tail, and you look at the you should really just go watch the thing on YouTube about the Scorpion King. It'll tell you a lot, but something to do with this and the furries, the modern day furries, the connection between that. I had written that down. What is this? Oh yeah, they because they align themselves with certain animals to imbue themselves, I guess, with that sort of power or whatever. And the animals were mascots for clans. Um, Scorpion is the first animal because it's a water. Scorpio is a water sign, and it's a I guess a representation of life coming onto land. So it's the first. And if you look in the Masons and shit, and a lot of these ancient cultures, in Seven Boomer, he talks about this a lot. Coming from the sea, right? There's this ancient sea race and all this stuff, right? Um, First animal to colonize land. What is it? Can handle a low of 17 degrees. That's interesting, huh? It's fluorescent under UV light, luminescence, right? Luciferase. That stuff people say they were putting in the you know what, the luciferase. And another one I wrote was drooling is a symptom of scorpion poison. And I wrote here Dune, like the series with a question mark. I forget the connection there, to be honest. I'm not perfect. Abydos was the most important town in Egypt, the mother of pots. So that goes back to the thing I was saying, the place where they would take all their pots and smash them or whatever. It was a necropolis city of the dead and the most holy place. The most holy place. Oh yeah, the pots were an offering for Osiris. And the pots would contain wine or oil, maybe having something to do with your vessel, your pot. Isis and Osiris. He began I guess this idea of I think being buried in a tomb. I wrote here, tomb like his house, world created from primeval mound. So that goes to the mound builders, right? The hill kings or whatever. And in those tombs, you can see it in the documentary again on YouTube. There were red and black granite on the floor, I guess, burial chamber, and they had cedar beams, right? In the you look up the Freemasons, they give a lot of attention to that cedar tree, the cedars of Lebanon. And I wrote here, Mustaba equals bench. Mustaba equals bench time. Oh no, that was something else. Equals bench. Mm, yeah. So that's what I have for that as a completion of this. I'm sure maybe you thought there would be more, but there is much, much more, and that will be coming out in another video, but just not about this topic, because that was that dream. So I thank you.